Hello everybody and welcome back to RogueTech, where we are currently still in the market for a new missile boat, and we'll see what we end up coming up with. We're not too concerned about getting that rifleman repaired, that's really a backup mech, but our work on the Argo storage space has been finished, and we'll hire the best we can afford here. We'll attract top talent and gain a 4 tech point boost for 14 days. We probably don't necessarily need that, but that is going to boost the rifleman here, which is now only going to take 14 days to finish, which is okay. We also finished up all of our current repairs, so we need to deploy right away here. Although maybe we take forward 1 day just to get Clist back. Yeah, there we go. That'll be fine. We do need to hop into the engineering and get an engineering upgrade going here. We have most of the expensive ones done. It's relatively cheap. We can increase our max drop tonnage, but we're not running into limits on that right now. Allowed drop size by 1 vehicle slot. We have a lack of vehicles at this moment, mostly just due to salvage. We are interested in getting some. Let's get training module 2, just so that we can get more of that passive XP coming in. That'll be fine. Let's do our mech warrior training here and see what we need, if anything.
Commander.
Gorgon can use a point of piloting. That's fine.
I'm here. Receiving you.
Hardcase could use, I think a point of piloting is good here. Maybe arguably a point of guts. But piloting and guts for Clist, I like it. And then Magus, you're fine. Plato, you're fine. Yep. And Weasel Cakes could grab a point of tactics. That'll be fine. Excellent. So we're ready to deploy now. Let's figure out where we're going to go. We're in the market for a missile boat, so I would like high salvage missions. I mean, there's this, but it's an attack and defend, and that's spooky. We're not interested in an attack and defend right now, to be honest. Let's see here. This is just a battle here. A joint task force of Lyran and Lyran units, huh? We could definitely do this. This is definitely an interesting route to go. It's a relatively cheap priority salvage if we sit here. It's not great priority salvage, but it should be enough to grab a mech if there's one available. So that'll be okay. At this point, we are ready to deploy with our previous lance, and let's see how this goes. Yes, the Black Knight will be low, and yes, Darius thinks it will be hard. He's probably wrong. See you guys after the loading screen. Okay, so here we are all loaded up, and let's see what we've got to deal with here. So we know that we're going to have an allied unit, which is not necessarily great. Intel puts them up in this area. Yep, that seems all fine. What do we got? Apparently we're automatically landing up over here. Sure. So we need to ensure that at least 1 unit of the Merrick Lance survives. Oh, they auto-landed up there. Okay, so that is all fine. We know that there's some Steiner forces here, but there should be a second Steiner force somewhere. Maybe we should spawn down on this road and attempt to be like a hammer and anvil type idea. That's not necessarily the worst thing in the world. The closest we can spawn, though, is somewhere out over here. So we'll have to advance up this road. Okay, let's see how this ends up going. So we do immediately see some units up over here. What do they have? Well, our ally has a pack rat. That's the Steiner Lance, and there's another Lance in the AO. We knew that that would be the case. Okay, so that's a sling. That's coming down and engaging us. That's a Grand Dragon, a Javelin, and a Phoenix Hawk, land air mech. Okay.
I've got your back.
Noted. So our Centaur is going to advance up over here. We can probably get in, well, we can definitely get in behind the sling next turn, and we'll see what that ends up looking like. That's an MTR carrier. Okay, that's an LRM carrier. The Grand Dragon is moving down towards us. That seems fine. This is... Hang on. So this is a Merrick Lance. Have I been confused this whole time? I mean, I say this whole time. It's been barely any time. Yeah, this is a Merrick Lance up here. And these are Merrick forces. Wild. So the second Lance is a Merrick Lance? Huh. So they're allied. I definitely didn't expect that. Well, we're just going to advance here, and we've got these guys in a really tough position. In that case, we should very easily eliminate them. So our hoplite is just going to step forward onto the road here and brace so that it doesn't get knocked down next round. Our rifleman is going to sprint forward as much as it can, which isn't very far. It's not a fast mech. We have a huge numerical advantage here. We have 8 units. The Merricks have 8 units versus the Steiner 4 units. So we outnumber them 4-1. They're going to die very quickly.
Waiting for orders.
So I guess that's good. Our Grasshopper is going to head forward here.
Moving fast.
To be honest, I kind of prefer it if this Lance out over here was a Steiner Lance, but they aren't. So sure, we'll take some free pay, I guess.
I will be done.
That's absolutely fine. So our Black Knight is going to sprint on up
Heading
over
out.
here.
Full speed.
And we're going to be going into round 2 very soon, where they're no longer going to have spawn protection. But we're not quite there yet. Okay, now we are. So spawn protection has been removed. Strangely enough, Merrick gets to move before our Centaur, which is unusual. It's going to be a unit up in the north here, firing on that Javelin. Okay, that was a pack rat firing, and it didn't actually move there. I'm going to move in behind this sling. We're only going to get, I think, 6 evasive for this, but that's okay. We're going to melee the sling in the rear arc. This probably just straight up kills the sling.
Confirmed. To hell with the weapon.
We did miss the melee attack, which is unfortunate. I believe that was a 70% chance, but we probably still killed this. Exactly. So that's great. Engine XL there. We might be able to salvage that at least. Okay, so now we've got this Grand Dragon up on the hill. It's going to move now. It's likely to engage our Centaur here. Oh, wow. Okay. It has basically no active weaponry. Okay. It does move in and melee our Centaur, but it barely does any damage there. Oh, it charged. Never mind. It did quite a lot of damage to our Centaur. And to itself, to be sure. The MTR carrier is moving up and firing on the Javelin. I'm glad it's not firing on the Grand Dragon. That could be awkward right now. Wait, this just ticked up to 50%. Did this just die? Wait. No. This is 2 lances, but it's 2 lances of 2? Oh. That's very strange. Okay. I definitely didn't expect that. So we'll see what ends up happening here. This Grand Dragon has no evasive. The LRM is firing on the Javelin. That Javelin won't last very much longer, even with its cover. So that seems fine. Our hoplite is next, and I feel like we positioned the hoplite like out over here. I probably shouldn't have moved, but we're going to fire the Thumper artillery in flak mode, and we're going to fire on that land air mech. We did miss. We did manage to get 1 hit of those missiles. That wasn't great, but it honestly doesn't matter. Like, this is so close to being over already. It's insane. So this APC is firing on the Grand Dragon here. We'll take that. That makes sure that he's unsteady, which I believe he was before. And once we get to move our primary units here, this Grand Dragon is not going to survive. Okay, I don't think that autocannon hit. Maybe it did. Was that an AC-10? Yeah, it's an AC-10. Okay, it probably did hit there. Good to know. So that's definitely a weakened flank. So next up is going to be the land air mech, which is going to position out behind this guy, but not fire. Okay, the Plainsman moves up and fires on that Grand Dragon. Structure exposure. The Grand Dragon's dead. Luckily, the Grand Dragon did not melt down. Okay, so at this point, our Trebuchet should move up over here. And we could start firing on this Phoenix Hawk or on this Javelin. Hit odds are exactly the same for both. I think we're much more likely to get a kill on the Dragon, so we're going to fire on that quick. Yeah, we hit absolutely nothing there. I'm not shocked. Those hit odds were very low. Okay, so we'll see what the Drillson does here. shoots at that javelin. Gets a little bit of damage in there. Okay, that seems absolutely fine. That grasshopper is firing at the Phoenix Hawk, hitting absolutely nothing there. At point blank range, that's a little sad.
Yes, Commander.
But our Shadowhawk is going to need to advance up over this way as much as it can, which isn't a whole lot, but we'll close in as much as possible.
I'm receiving you.
Our Grasshopper is probably going to head around this way. Now, this unit that has its armor exposed, that does not have any SRM or LRM ammo in it. Perfect. Our crossbow can position here. We can fire on that Phoenix Hawk in SAM mode. Reasonable hit odds on that, actually. And we're going to take that.
Have some of this.
I mean, it's not good hit odds, but it's, for the situation, not bad. The Black Knight is going to need to start heading up over here. It's out of range.
Let's do this.
And the Rifleman is going to do exactly the same thing. It is also in the category of out of range. Cool. So next up is our Centaur. And the Centaur is going to sprint up over this direction. And we'll call that good for now. This Javelin is not long for this world. That's for sure. The real question that I have here, though, is how much do they focus up here on this land air mech? That could be hard to hit. So we'll see how that ends up going. This Javelin is the easy target. No doubt about that. Especially with the MTR carrier attacking it here. That's a lot of internal damage there. And a head hit. It does get to move in phase 17, so we'll see what it does. But it's not doing well. Additional fire coming in on that Javelin, and that was a solid hit there. A lot of internal damage happening. Unfortunately, the Javelin is still alive. So the Drillson is going to fire on the Javelin as well. That's an arm destruction. Surely this Javelin's going to eject soon, right? I mean, it gets to move now. So we'll see what it ends up doing here, but it's not in good shape. It's very not in good shape. Okay, that is not relevant. It just fires a medium laser at that MTR carrier. That's absolutely fine. So our Trebuchet is going to continue to advance forward. We'll check hit odds here. I'm not expecting much. 0.9 on the Javelin and 0.9 on the Phoenix Hawk. We'll lob at the Javelin. It's a pot shot. We're not going to get anything, though, probably. Yeah, I didn't expect to get anything there.
Stay in the crosshairs.
So that's absolutely fine. We are a very long ways away, and we're firing, like, over this hill, right? So it's going to be a bit tough. That land air mech is going to be the thing that's difficult to get to. So we'll see what it does here. Firing on the LRM carrier? Okay. That's absolutely fine. Our Shadowhawk is going to continue to advance up the hill as much as it can, but it doesn't have LOS, or rather it doesn't have range. That Maxim APC is not going to be able to shoot at anything either. So for now, we're going to move our Grasshopper up over this way as much as we can, which is not a whole lot. We're going to have a hard time closing in on these up here. They're very far away. But also, the Grasshopper has a Gauss rifle and a PPC to fire at this Phoenix Hawk. It did miss the Gauss rifle, but it hit the PPC, so we'll take that for now. Our Hoplite is going to continue to fire in flak mode at this Phoenix Hawk. And that's a flak hit, making the Phoenix Hawk unsteady. That's actually a huge deal here.
Yes,
I like it. So the Rifleman is going to advance. It is out of range, but we can position here and pot shot it. 26%. That's not so bad, actually. We don't hit, but it was worth a try.
That's a miss.
Next up is our crossbow, which can advance forward a little bit, and the LRMs are going to be best on the Phoenix Hawk, obviously. Oh yeah, much better hit odds. Good armor damage to that Phoenix Hawk.
Standing by.
Next up would be our Black Knight, which is out of range and cannot get in range. So we're going to position here. We're just going to get as close as we can. Okay, next round. Phase 25, that's going to be the Pack Rat. I'm hoping to see it kill this Javelin. We'll see. It just chose not to move. Okay.
I've got you.
An interesting choice indeed. We're just going to head up over here.
Roger
Do we
that.
want to fire our LRMs at this Phoenix Hawk? Honestly, with 65% hit odds, I think we do.
Affirmative.
So that's a few LRMs going into that Phoenix Hawk and lessening its damage. I would actually like to see these guys focusing on the Phoenix Hawk up here. The MTR carrier went for the Javelin. That's a whole lot of crits, and the Javelin is dead. That's fantastic. So now these guys are all freed up to focus on the land air mech. That's great. This plainsman moves up and does not fire. The land air mech moves in phase 17. So the LRM carrier gets to fire now. That could do a lot of damage. That could be devastating here. Absolutely devastating. The land air mech is knocked out of the sky, and that means that it is not long for this world. Next up is our hoplite, and the hoplite pretty much needs to continue to fire on the land air mech, but obviously, now that it's shot down, we're going to be firing in artillery mode. We're out of range for direct fire mode, but we can absolutely do something like this. Kaboom. Fantastic.
Critical hit, Commander.
The land air mech is also reserved back to phase 13. It's not going to get to move again, I don't think.
Commander?
Especially since it's our crossbow moving now. The crossbow can step slightly back to get a direct LOS, and we can fire this in ER mode, and let's hit that Phoenix Hawk. That's a huge amount of internal damage there, but it's not dead yet. Okay, that's fine. Our grasshopper is going to advance up the hill. We're out of range, of course, so we can't fire with the grasshopper.
Good
The
to go.
trebuchet, on the other hand, can it get a direct fire LOS? I kind of doubt it. We're just going to position
need
it
to
up
tell me
here,
twice.
and our hit odds here are going to be very, very low.
Time to die.
But we'll give it a go. Oh, we crit the land air mech flight
Want
systems
some more? Huh?
and the pilot ejects. Perfect. Okay, so now we need to ensure the Merrick Lance safely evacs.
Yes, Commander. Holding off.
Do we just need to finish up the round and then it'll end? I think so.
Yes,
I think we just need to finish the round here. There are no additional enemies, and I don't think there's an actual evac site.
Ready for order.
I think we just need to have the
I
round
will win.
finish. We'll see. But that should be the case. Yeah, there we go. Oh, there is another dropship inbound. Okay. Well, we've exited combat here. Let's put our Centaur off over here for right now.
Affirmative.
The Grasshopper is going to position here. The Hoplite is going to not sprint. We're going to walk forward and brace.
Copy that.
The Rifleman is going to start climbing this hill.
Coordinates received.
The Crossbow is going to head out over
My
here
way.
as well. The Black Knight is going to head up over this direction. And the Shadowhawk is going to close in over here. A lot of our mechs are still a long ways away from that drop site, but we do get around to respond to it, so that looks good. We're able to move at least some of these units in. And they're, of course, going to have 12 evasive when they land. And I think maybe spawn protection as well. No, they aren't. They're just going to have 12 evasive. Okay, so that's fine for now. Well, what do they got? Boy, those vehicles are just piling up over here. They want to attack the Steiners? The Steiners are already gone. But these are Steiners. Okay, the game is very confused. So we see an Enforcer, a Griffin, a Trebuchet, and an IS Standard. Noted. That IS Standard is honestly probably the biggest threat here. However, our Shadowhawk is well equipped for dealing with that. But I'm going to reserve here. 1 round.
Let them make the first mistake.
Indeed. We're going to see what the IS standard here does, and this Griffin is going to move as well. I suspect they're going to go for the Grasshopper, but I don't know that for a fact. They might go for one of these vehicles over here. They might go for the Centaur. If they do, that's probably not the worst thing in the world. Although this has SRM ammo in it. Okay. Well, the Griffin moves and does nothing at all. Fascinating. The IS standard backs off a little bit and does not fire. So at this point, our Centaur wants to come in over here. Are we in range of... No, we're not. We can hit the Griffin rear arc here, but we can't melee it. That's fine. We're just going to eliminate this very quickly. I was hoping to see a kill out of that.
Punched right through his armor.
But we did a lot of damage to him. So that's good for now. Next up, we're going to want to focus on this IS standard. How much evasive does it have? That's the question we need to figure out here. 4? That's not a lot of evasive. I like it. So I think we put the Grasshopper down over here. Attack the IS standard with the Grasshopper. Or we put the Grasshopper here and we attack the Griffin to finish it off. We'll see what they end up doing here. They put the Enforcer there. Okay. We do have some allied vehicles that are going to move right now. So let's see what they do. The MTR is going to move now. It's going for the Griffin. I don't like this. I don't like that at all because we have our Centaur right there. But, I mean, I guess. That's what they decided to go for. So next up is going to be this LRM carrier. That could do a lot of damage. I would position it here, and I would go for the... I guess I would not go for the Trebuchet here. I would have gone for this guy. Because the Trebuchet still has its 12 evasive. The Enforcer only has 5 evasive.
Waiting for orders.
Okay, next up is going to be our Trebuchet. And let's see, can we get into a direct LOS with any of these? The answer is no, but we can position here and maybe soften one of these up. And it's the Griffin that we can soften up. That's the best hit odds anyway. I think I'm not going to go for the Griffin here. I think what I'm going to go for is actually the Enforcer. Yes, the hit odds are lower, and we end up doing absolutely no damage whatsoever to it. But the Grasshopper or the Centaur is going to finish off the Griffin. I'm not concerned about the Griffin. The Shadowhawk is planning... Ooh, that's a good shot on the Griffin there. I like that. So the Griffin is now stressed. It's very close to getting knocked down. Unfortunately, it has a lot of internal HP on its rear arc there, so the knockdown isn't going to kill it. But we're definitely going to get these cleaned up pretty quickly. With all of these units firing, absolutely. A lot of damage into that Griffin. That might be the knockdown. Not quite is the answer, but it was very close. Eventually, we'll get to move the majority of our units. I like the choice of attacking the IS standard here with the machine guns. That's a really, really good choice. That did a lot of damage to that IS standard. We're planning to do the same thing with our Shadowhawk. Shadowhawk will position probably about here, I think is the closest we can get, somewhere over in here. Okay, I like the attack on the Griffin there, but with the machine gun, I would have much preferred that they attack this. But even so, the Griffin took some decent damage there. It did get knocked down, so we now cannot go for the rear arc attack on it. We can go for the rear arc attack on the Enforcer, though, in theory. So phase 15, that's going to be the Trebuchet. We'll see what it does. It's really heavily outmatched here. Positions itself there. And doesn't fire.
How's it going?
It's a little wild. Not really what I would go for.
On the move.
We're going to fire directly on this Trebuchet's side arc, and we're going to do a lot of damage to it here. That is clustering really solidly in that leg.
Score. Critical hit.
Okay, so this Trebuchet is not doing well.
I'm your spaniel.
Our Grasshopper is intended to move in on this Enforcer, and I want to position in the rear arc here, and we're going to kick the Enforcer. Let's see if we hit the melee attack here. That's a successful melee, so this Enforcer is going to take a lot of damage here. And that's just a dead Enforcer. Beautiful.
That's a kill.
Absolutely fantastic.
I'm ready.
Next up is our Black Knight, who can side arc attack this trebuchet. It's actually
Onward.
remarkably in the same side as this crossbow. So we're absolutely going to take that. That's probably going to leg the trebuchet.
Taking the shot.
We didn't hit any of that in the leg. That's sad. And of course, it's lasers, so it didn't have all that much instability.
Receiving you.
However, a rifleman can position here and also fire on this trebuchet. At the very least, this should make it unsteady. Hip destruction, and the trebuchet is indeed
Reporting.
now unsteady.
Critical hit.
Perfect. So next up is our hoplite. The hoplite is not really wanting to fire its artillery in any meaningful way, but we can fire our ER medium laser and our LRM-15.
Firing on
Absolutely. Good damage into the trebuchet.
How'd that taste?
Excellent. So next up, our Shadowhawk wants to sprint forward, and we want to fire on this IS standard with everything we've got as far as machine guns. Let him have it.
Affirmative.
That was a lot of damage to the IS standard. No doubt about that. But it's not dead yet. That'll be a next round sort of thing. Okay, we've got an ally turn here. The Grasshopper is going to move up, and it didn't fire on anyone. Next up is going to be the Pack Rat. I'd love to see the Pack Rat come out over this way and hit the trebuchet. Instead, it's going to charge the IS standard. I guess that's okay. It just kind of runs over the infantry and finishes them off. That works. It's not something that I would have gone for there, but it definitely does work. Do we want to just take this front arc attack on the Griffin here? To be honest, yes. Let's see about finishing it off. Griffin is out of here. So all that's left now is the trebuchet, and that's going to die very, very quickly. Wait. What is this? Why can we still move the Centaur? We're apparently calculating. We shouldn't be able to do anything more with the Centaur. I don't actually want to move through here. This is, I think, a bug. We're not supposed to be able to move the Centaur here. We don't have ace pilot. But I don't want to move through the fire, not when we have exposed troops here. So I'm just going to say done. Unit can move, thus should move. Okay, it won't let us. I guess we'll have to move through the fire? I really don't like this. We do ace pilot it. Okay. When did Magus get ace pilot? Remarkable. So they're firing on the trebuchet here, and the trebuchet actually just dies. So that was exceptionally easy. No doubt about it. When did Magus get ace pilot? I don't remember Magus getting ace pilot at all. But apparently he has it. Fascinating. Maybe I accidentally grabbed it and just didn't think about it. That is a possibility. I have been in a bit of a, fugue state dealing with this illness, which is getting a lot better at this point. I think we're definitely on the downhill slide. Not fully there yet, but certainly getting better. Okay, so we didn't actually take all that much damage from moving through the fire, which is good. But I still didn't want to actually do it. So what do we want to grab here? An extra trebuchet? Not really, is the answer. Phoenix Hawk land air mech? Eh. Honestly, maybe these UAC-5s. UAC-5s are pretty good. Energy accuracy FCS, but we would need ammo for the UAC-5s. We don't have any of that. So we could definitely do that. We get a bunch of Grand Dragon parts and things like that. We get an ECM extended, a comm suite, land air mech turbine, some standard jump jets, normal heat sink. Okay, not too bad as far as salvage goes. And we didn't take all that much damage. That was honestly exceptionally easy. We outnumbered them to an extreme degree the whole way through. And Darius was very wrong about that one being a hard one. No doubt about that. Those numerical advantages are really tough to overcome. When you're outnumbered 4-1, like, what are you going to do? They have so many options to respond to you that you just don't have. Even if their troops are inferior to yours, which ours were not, but even if they're inferior to you, it's going to be tough when you're outnumbered 4-1. They can just pour fire into you and focus you down really, really quickly. So yeah, go ahead and get that done. That's only going to take 2 days. Absolutely wonderful. So we're going to tick forward those 2 days. There we go, and we're ready to deploy again. But it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're heading out yet again. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings. And a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Andy McGar, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12 UK, Kintogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.